just driving down to a place called Red Rock today, and there's a lot of scenic walks. You can actually spend about 6 days, I think, doing the whole trail, where you can just sort of do the little parts of the walk, the lookouts as well. So yeah, that's what we're doing today. But while I'm driving down, I'm just going to try and tell a little bit of the story, because I've been thinking about everything that's happened, and obviously I've got lots of notes and I've talked to a few people about it as well, but just want to try and articulate it and record it, just all for part of the process, I guess, of collating all the material at some point to publish into some kind of a book about everything, all the things that have happened. The stories are some of them are so crazy. But, yeah, so what happened was that on the, I think it was about the 25th of September, when I was still on the Gold Coast, so I've been getting into a pretty good pattern, obviously, of charging the monitoring device and doing that in the morning while getting ready to go out for the day, and then doing it again at night. And I had done that this particular day, I think it was a Sunday, and then we'd gone out somewhere, but while I was out I got a message saying to charge it, so we went back at around lunchtime to the hotel, and I was charging it, and then I actually got a phone call from Monitoring Compliance Unit saying that I needed to charge it, and that it was showing I hadn't charged it since the day before. So I explained what I'd done and did some troubleshooting, and she said she was going to refer it to Tas Police because it's their equipment. So yeah, so that's what she did, and the next day I just charged it again as normal, and my daughter and I went to the hinterland, and we went out to this winery that has a glowworm cave there as well. And just before we went in, I called the Monitoring Compliance Unit back to see if everything was okay, because I hadn't heard anything from anyone, and he said that they were still trying to work on it with the police. And then shortly after that I got a call from the Police Family Violence Unit in Tasmania, and he said that he was going to need to get hours and hours of paperwork done, that was his words, and that he was going to have to ask police on the Gold Coast to bring me a replacement battery, because it appeared that there must be something wrong with the battery, as it wasn't holding charge, or it wasn't charging the device. So yeah, he said just leave it with him and he would get it done as quickly as possible, and I again confirmed my address for him on the Gold Coast and waited to hear back. He said it might not be, till the next day. But yeah, 4 days went by and I didn't hear anything. And then on the 29th of September, my daughter and I checked out of the Gold Coast Hotel and drove to Brisbane. And then, yeah, it was the afternoon of the 29th. I was sitting out the front of the hotel in Fortitude Valley. My daughter was asleep in the car, so I was just waiting for her to wake up from her nap so we could check in. And I got a phone call from a policeman from the Gold Coast, and he said that he had a arrest warrant and that I was wanted for questioning around the battery going flat on the monitoring device. And I said to him that I didn't understand why it was an arrest warrant, because the Tasmania Police Family Violence Unit had specifically said to me that he was just going to ask for a replacement battery. And then this Gold Coast policeman said to me that it was definitely an arrest warrant, and that he had been told by Tasmania Police that this is just something that I do. That was his words. Like, he said that I actually do this. And I said, what do you mean, do what? And he said that I constantly ask for replacement batteries and claim that the batteries are not working, or that there's various issues with the equipment. And yeah, he kept saying it was something that I do and that I was wanted for questioning, and he said that I had to be arrested, and that he was going to get me put on the prison bus and taken to a watch house where I was going to be locked up until they could sort out the equipment, whether they were going to put me on the Queensland monitoring system or put me on the keep me on the Tasmanian monitoring system, but just swap the equipment over. He wasn't even really sure what was going to happen. He just said that I had to be in custody until it could be resolved. And I explained to him how I was travelling on my own, like just with my daughter, and don't have anyone to care for my daughter, and what's going to happen to her. And then his actual words were, well, you should have thought of that before, and that he could make arrangements to have her put with docs. So yeah, he wasn't really that great to speak to, not very empathetic or anything. And anyway, he then went on to ask me where I was, and I said, well, actually I've now gone to Brisbane. And he said he was going to then refer the arrest warrant to the Brisbane Police, and he asked for my address in Brisbane. Now that's where I was really panicking, and I didn't know if I should give a fake address or a real one, because I was really scared and I was starting to have a panic attack. I couldn't even breathe properly. But I just made a really quick decision, and I thought, I'll be honest, because I always try and be honest as much as possible. I am an honest person at heart, so I did tell the truth, and I gave him my real address at the hotel I was really checking into, because I thought, I guess in that moment I was just thinking that if I keep trying to demonstrate that I am cooperative and that I'm not trying to do something dodgy, that maybe there'll be some leniency or something like that. But yeah, so anyway, I gave him the real address, and then I went to check in to the hotel, but the lady who was checking me in could obviously tell that something wasn't right, and she actually offered for me and my daughter to go and sit in this room for a little bit, because our hotel room wasn't ready yet. And she just, basically I was crying when I was checking in. Like, I had tears in my eyes, and I wasn't breathing properly, and I was shaking, and she just knew something wasn't right, obviously, so she let us go and sit in that room, which was really nice of her. And then I was trying to call my lawyer and trying to call the Tasmania Police Family Violence Unit, and nobody was answering. But then I finally got through to someone in Tasmania Police, but I don't think he worked in the Family Violence Unit, but he worked close to them or something, because he was really nice. I remember his name was Rory, and he was actually so kind, and he straight away said that didn't sound right to him, and that he didn't think that my daughter should have to go into docs and I should be locked up over something like this. And he said he was going to email the Family Violence Unit and ask them to sort it out. So that made me feel a tiny little bit better for that night, but I was still really scared that obviously in the meantime there was a warrant out for my arrest, and that Brisbane Police could come and arrest me at any time. So yeah, I basically stopped eating, and I didn't sleep at all that night. I just stayed up all night. I don't even know what I was doing, to be honest. I can't even remember. I think I was just, I don't actually know. I can't remember. It might come back to me later, but I just didn't sleep at all. And anyway, then got my daughter up really early the next morning, and because I think I was thinking that the less time I can spend at the hotel, the less chance of being arrested if the police did come. So I got her up really early, and we just got in the car and I drove out to Ipswich, and there's this awesome place out there called the Queen's Park, and it's got a wildlife park attached to it as well, with all these different animals in there, and just by gold coin donation you can go in there. And then they had a really nice cafe and a little area where kids could go in and just play with like magnifying glasses and little insects and things, you know, that they could look at through the magnifying glass, and soft toys and like a fake tree they could climb inside, and art and craft stuff. And we spent the whole day there, and then I had a psychologist appointment over the phone that afternoon as well. So I told her what was going on, and she just reminded me to, you know, write it out, like the wave of emotion and everything. Use my skills that I learned in therapy, my DBT and everything. So yeah, I did all of that, and went back to the hotel that night, and I still, wasn't really eating much though, and I just, it was still finding it hard to get to sleep. So I think at around 3 o'clock that morning, I sent a message through the booking service of the hotel, and I asked if we could cancel our booking, because I thought, maybe I'll just move to a different hotel, because at least then that gives me a little bit more time to just try and figure out what's going to happen, and, you know, less chance then of the police finding me if I'm in a different hotel. So yeah, I asked, and anyway, I didn't hear anything back from the hotel. We got up really early again, and we went out and spent the day at all the museums and art galleries in Brisbane, and the library as well, just going back and forth between all those places. And then while I was there, I started to hear a voice sort of guiding me a bit and telling me what to do, and it just started off really quiet, sort of just saying, you know, like, you should really not go back to your hotel tonight, not sleep there, because the police are going to come. But then it got really, really strong, like in the afternoon when I was thinking about it, and basically this voice was saying to me, don't go back to your hotel tonight, because you are going to get arrested tonight. Like, it's actually going to happen tonight is the night. And like, part of me was just sort of trying to ignore it and think, you know, that I'm going to lose a bit of money on my hotel booking, and just to, you know, stick with it. But I just had, this feeling was so strong, and I just thought, you know what, it doesn't even matter about the money, like, your freedom's worth way more than that. And I thought, I'm going to listen to this voice, because it was so strong, so powerful. And so anyway, what I did is I went back there. Oh, and in the meantime, I had heard anyway from the hotel, and they said, they'll let me cancel it, but they were going to still charge me for that night. But they let me cancel the rest of it. And anyway, so anyway, I went back there, and it was like something out of a movie, literally. Like, I pulled up out the very front of the hotel, and then I ran across the street and ran up the stairs into the elevator, went up to my room, like, ran down the hallway, ran in just grabbing stuff and just literally just chucking it in my suitcase, just chucked it all in there really, really fast. And then I just took everything down, just got out of there. And I went and checked into another hotel that was about 10 minutes down the road. And I sort of felt a little bit better than just knowing that, I was somewhere that nobody knew where I was. Anyway, we were just sitting there in the hotel, and then my phone rang, and it was a mobile number I didn't recognise, and I just instantly knew that it was going to be police. I just knew it, and I got really bad anxiety then, and I let the phone call ring out because I just couldn't answer. And then as soon as it rang out, I picked up my phone and I dialed it back, and I heard him say something about family violence police, and then I hung up again. But then I did call it back straight away. And he said his name's Josh, and he's from the family violence unit in Brisbane, and he has an arrest warrant, and he also said to me that he read my file and that was sent up by Tasmania Police, and he said to me that he's really sorry about everything that I'm going through, which really surprised me when he said that. I was so shocked. And then he said to me that the police had just been at my hotel at Fortitude Valley and that I wasn't there. And he was glad that I wasn't there because he said he didn't actually want me to be arrested. And it was just so incredible to hear that. And then he went into a lot of detail about how he has seen that unfortunately it is very easy for people to weaponise these family violence orders, and that he said he read between the lines of what was sent to him in my file from Tasmania Police, and that he straight away thought that I'm the one who's the victim. He said it wasn't even hard for him to see. He said it's really obvious that I am the victim, and that this is an abuse of power and systems abuse, and what's being done to me isn't right. He said you're not even supposed to be arrested for technical breaches, and all of my arrests and all of my imprisonments and being locked up in the remand centre, all of those things have all been related to technical breaches. So that's confirmed what I've been saying all along, that that's not right and that shouldn't have happened to me. And he did ask me where I was, and I did lie, and I did say that I was already in New South Wales because obviously I wasn't going to say that I was just 10 minutes down the road and have them have to come and arrest me. So I did lie about that, but we left the next day and we did go to New South Wales. And to be honest, I reckon even if he did suspect that I was still in Queensland, I did get the feeling that he was going to send anyone out looking for me, because he was just so kind. And when I actually said I was in New South Wales, his response was something like, thank goodness for that, because he said, I'm going to sleep much better tonight knowing that, because he said, I did not want to arrest you. He said, and he actually said he couldn't understand. He said, why are Tasmania Police so insistent that we arrest you? Because he said, I haven't just had one request, I've had several. And I said to him, well, obviously it doesn't say in the report that the person making the allegations about me is part of the system. He works in the Justice Department, and he obviously has contacts in the court and with the police and everything. And he's been involved with the electronic monitoring program as well as a manager. So as soon as I said that to him, he was like, oh, yeah, okay, that makes sense then, very corrupt. And so anyway, that was what happened there. But yeah, he gave me some great advice about how I can get some assistance now to fight this. And, you know, as I said to him, just knowing that I now have somebody who's in a position of power who actually is on my side is just so reassuring to me and makes me feel a little bit more hopeful about my situation. I said how, you know, Tasmania Police have just been gaslighting me this whole time and actually had me half believing that maybe I am a really bad person and maybe I do deserve this. I think some part of me thought that because I've just been gaslighted by so many people in Tasmania. Which is shit. So that's that part of the story. There is more, but I might tell the rest another time. To be continued.